What do you do with a yellowed old finish? That is the question. There's certainly a lot of this type of blonde furniture on Facebook Marketplace, and I think the average person would just bypass it. And I suspect it's because most people don't know what to do with them. But when I saw this online, I had my suspicions that there was something good underneath the sun-bleached lacquer. So follow along as I attempt to revive this mid-century dresser that is most definitely vintage, but with the right finish will fit in with current decor styles. Now, I did a bit of research on this piece of furniture. It's from a company called the Durham Furniture Company, which is a Canadian manufacturer of furniture way back when, and it was bought out by, I think, Crollier in the 1950s. So this would lead me to believe that this piece of furniture is earlier than the 50s, because after that you would have seen the Crollier name on it. So I'm dating this to about the early 50s, late 40s. I've brought all the drawers in from my garage because I've got the rest of the dresser out there. I'm going to start on the dresser drawers. I'm going to strip them all because they're in dire need of stripping. And I've got a kind of an odd situation here. I sent a picture of this to my sister a couple weeks ago and said, hey, look at this cool dresser, because I know she's looking for one for her bedroom. And she said, oh, I love it. It looks great. I'm going to show it to my husband. Well, she showed it to her husband and her husband went, nah. So they decided not to get it. But I kept looking at it and it wasn't selling on Facebook Marketplace. So I decided that, you know what? I like it well enough that I'm going to get it and refinish it and resell it. And if it looks really good, I think Andy might change his mind. That's my brother-in-law. So I think he might just not have the vision. So I think my sister and I were seeing something in it that he didn't see. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm right. And once I refinish it, he'll actually like it, or if it's just going to go back up on Facebook Marketplace as a refreshed piece of furniture for somebody else to love. Let's see what happens. If you enjoy watching before and after furniture makeovers, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's completely free to you, but it helps me out a lot. Thanks. These are looking like solid brass. They should clean up very nicely. What I generally do when I'm starting drawers to refinish drawers, I look at each individual drawer and kind of figure out, what kind of shape it is. Like right now, this drawer, I'm looking down at the dovetail joints. They're all intact. Nothing's protruding or loose looking, so that's good. I already know that the drawer slides in and out very nicely, so there's nothing wrong with the mechanism underneath. But also all along here has to come off as well. The inside of the drawers, I am ecstatic because it looks like I barely have to do anything to them. I'm just looking in here at this part here. Often you get fingerprints and stuff on the top inside edge here, so I'll most likely sand this part here, but the other parts are so clean looking that I don't think I'm going to touch them. If I don't have to, I won't. Everything else is pretty good. Maybe just a light sanding just to get any marks off. A little bit along the back, a little bit more sanding along the back. Doesn't need to, I don't have to do it, but it looks nicer. Let's look at the bottom. There's a little bit, this is coming apart just a tad, so I might have to tap it in a bit, but again, not much. All the other nails on here are secure. Everything's tight. All the little pieces of wood are not coming out. They're tight, so looks good.
I was very happy to find oak underneath all the old finish because my sister really wanted a piece of furniture with a light finish to better match her new bed frame. And I know that oak takes a paint wash really well. And if I use the right color, it will totally get rid of the yellowish undertones.
A nail file.
To save my back, I've elevated the drawer by attaching it to a small table frame. That way I don't have to bend over to sand the next 6 drawers.
And here's the dovetails after I've taken off the clamp. They're nice and flat, nothing's protruding. I'm on my 3rd day. I've finished sanding all the drawers and I've brought the dresser down into my workshop. As you can tell, it's pretty big. I've got a pretty tiny workshop, but I make it work. And what I'm going to do this morning is I am going to start to sand off all the awful finish on the dresser itself. And I should be able to get through that today, no problem. Structurally, it's in really solid condition.
Okay, sanding and scraping was not getting me anywhere, so I decided to pull out the chemical stripper. Sometimes the finishes on the tops of dressers is just a little bit thicker than the rest of the dresser and it becomes harder to scrape and sand it off, so chemical stripper it is. The plywood on the back of the dresser was separating a little bit at the bottom, so what I did is I glued it off camera and clamped it.
Now I've taped off this corner here because there's a little tiny piece of veneer that is lifting, so I'm going to glue it. There's squeeze out, so that means there's glue in there. So I'm going to just tape it. That should do it.
Now for the paint wash to help neutralize the color. I'm using a 1-part paint to 4-part water mixture and brushing it on, then immediately wiping it off. The idea is to work fairly quickly so the paint doesn't dry. It doesn't really matter how you get the paint onto the surface, as long as you make the last pass long and straight swipes with the grain. You can really notice the difference in this shot between the natural wood and the paint washed wood. This is the first coat of color wash on the top. I let it dry, and the next day I add another coat to make it a little darker so it will better match my sister's bed frame. And at this point, I still don't even know if she and her husband are going to like it. I decided to use General Finish's high performance top coat because it's a water-based, non-yellowing top coat, and that's the last thing I want to do is to add any unwanted color to the paint wash. I applied 2 coats to the dresser, 2 coats to the drawers, and 3 coats to the dresser top, and in between all the coats I sand lightly with a 320 sanding sponge. It is Thursday evening as I finish applying the last coat of top coat. Did I achieve my objective? Well, the yellowy blonde look is definitely gone and replaced by a warm, more muted natural color. So check mark in that box. But the big question is, will I have won over my sister and brother-in-law, and will they like it well enough to get rid of their old dresser and replace it with this newly refurbished one? Check out my community page on YouTube after this weekend and you'll have the answer. And now, as always, sit back and enjoy the reveal. Catch you next time.